Today we are going to talk about Proverbs chapter 16. This chapter has a lot of wise sayings as usual that we can learn from it. So I'll start right away. So Proverbs chapter 16, we read from verse 1. It says, "The preparation of the heart belongs to man." It says, "But the answer of the tongue is from the Lord." Verse 2 says, "All the ways of a man are pure in his own eyes, but the Lord weighs the spirit." Verse 3 says that, "Commit your works to the Lord, and your thoughts will be established." It says in verse 4, "The Lord has made all things for himself. Yes, even the wicked for the day of doom." Verse 5 says, "Everyone who is proud in heart is an abomination to the Lord. Though they join forces, none will go unpunished." In verse 6 says that, "In mercy and truth, atonement is provided for iniquity, and by the fear of the Lord, one departs from evil." Verse 7 says, "When a man's ways pleases the Lord, he makes even his enemies to be at peace with him." Verse 8 says that, "Better is a little with righteousness than vast revenues without justice." Verse 9, it says, "A man's heart plans his way, but the Lord directs his steps." A man's heart plans his ways. It says, but the Lord directs his step. The Lord directs his steps. It says in verse 10, "Even though divination is on the lips of the king, his mouth must not transgress in judgment." Verse 11, "A just weight and balance are the Lord's. All the weight in the bag are his work." Verse 12 says, "It is an abomination for kings to commit wickedness, for a throne is established by righteousness." Verse 13, it says, "Righteous lips are the delight of kings, and they love him who speaks what is right." Verse 14 says, As messengers of death is the king's wrath, but a wise man will appease it." Verse 15 says, "In the light of the king's face is life, and his favor is like a cloud of the latter rain." Verse 16 says, "How much better it is to get wisdom than gold, and to get understanding is to be chosen rather than silver." Verse 17, it says, "The highway of the upright is to depart from evil, and he who keeps his ways preserves his soul." He who keeps his ways preserves his soul. Verse 18 says, Pride goes before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall." Verse 19 says, "Better to be of a humble spirit with the lowly than to divide the spoil with the proud." Verse 20 says, "He who heeds the word wisely will find good, and whoever trusts in the Lord, happy is he." Verse 21, it says, "A wise in heart will be called prudent, and sweetness of the lips increases learning." 22, it says, "Understanding is a wellspring of life to him who has it, but the correction of fools is folly." The correction of fools is folly. Verse 23 says, "The heart of the wise teaches his mouth, and adds learning to his lips." 24 says, "Pleasant words are like a honeycomb, sweetness to the soul, and health to the bones." 25 says, "There's a way that seems right to a man." It says, "But its end leads to death," or "its end is the way of death." It says, "There's a way that seems right to a man, but its end is the way of death." Verse 26 says, "The person who labors for himself, for his hungry mouth drives him on." His hungry mouth drives him on. Verse 27 says, ugly, an ungodly man digs up evil." He says, and it is on his lips like a burning fire." 28, it says, a perverse man sows strife, and a whisper separates the best of friends. Verse 29, it says, a violent man entices his neighbor and leads him in a way that is not good. Verse 30, it says, he winks his eye to devise perverse things. He pursues his lips and brings about evil. 31, it says, the silver-haired head is a crown of glory, if it is found in the way of righteousness. Verse 32 says, he who is slow to anger is better than the mighty, and he who rules a spirit than he who takes a city. Verse 33 says, the lot is cast into the lap, but every decision is from the Lord. Every decision is from the Lord. Every decision is from the Lord. One of the best parts I love is in verse 7. It says, a man's ways pleases the Lord. He makes even his enemies to be at peace with him. When your ways please the Lord, God will make sure that everyone that is against you, everyone that is planning evil against you, will be at peace with you. They'll be at peace with you because your ways pleases the Lord. Your ways pleases the Lord. And this is one thing we should take note. Let's live a life that pleases the Lord. A life that God can look upon us and say that this is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. In whom I am well pleased. And the next part I want us to take note is verse 9. It says, a man's heart plans his ways, but the Lord directs his step. It says, a man's heart plans his ways, but the Lord directs his step. This verse is trying to tell us that we have to have a plan for our life. We may not know how it's going to be accomplished, but we have to have a plan. But the Lord will direct us. When we have a plan, the Lord will direct our ways. The Lord will direct us on what we should do next, where we should go next, what step is ahead that we should take. The Lord will direct our steps. So you don't need to know everything up front. You don't need to know everything up front. You only need to have a plan. And now depend on God to direct you. Depend on God to direct you. Depend on God to direct you. One thing I want us to also know is in verse 1. It says, the preparation of the heart belongs to man. The preparation of the heart belongs to man. Just like we said in verse 9, a man's heart plans his ways. You have to be the one to plan your ways. It says the preparation of the heart belongs to man, but the answer of the tongue is from the Lord. You have to plan. You have to plan. The planning of the heart or the preparation of the heart belongs to you. You have to do the planning. God has to do the directing. God has to do the directing. So have a plan for your life. Have a plan for your life. And leave the rest to God. God is going to tell you what time is the best to take the step. God is going to direct you in what to do next. All you need to do is have the plan. Have the plan for your life. Have the plan for your life. If you got to this place, don't forget to subscribe. And see you tomorrow for Proverbs chapter 17. Bye-bye.